All right, guys. So let's get this party started. A few things I want to cover today. Overall, like helping you guys with time management and mindset. I know a lot of you guys obviously have a lot going on. So I'm going to kind of talk about my personal journey and hopefully you can take cues from it as to what worked for me when I still had a job and I was uploading print on demand products and kind of what was sort of like the best formula. So I'm going to share that with you guys. Because I think it's going to be also really helpful in helping you output more because I think we all get caught up in perfectionism and then we end up not uploading as much. Then I'm going to talk about deciding what to upload because I know I've shared with you guys like a lot of ideas as to what you could upload as far as like print on demand. And I'm going to talk more about how you can come up with a decision as to what's best for you. Then we're going to talk about how to attract customers. I'm also going to talk about thumbnails. There's a new research tool that I shared in the Facebook group yesterday. It's like a Pinterest spy tool, which was never available till now. So I'm going to share that. And then we're going to go through some common mistakes. Housekeeping for some of you who are new, make sure to watch as much as the course as possible. Overall, I would say the folks who watch the course to the fullest are the most successful because when we do these like live Q&As, it's just kind of like reinforcing what's already taught inside the course. And then additionally from that, it really helps them as well, like ask me questions when we have the live Q&A. Make sure to also join the Slack if you haven't already, the Facebook group, and then use the Excel sheet as far as your homework. So then you can share that with me when we do our one-on-one call or when we're on the Slack channel and I can review your listings and kind of also go over whatever niches you were trying to go after. So that makes it easier for both of us. So that's first things first. Okay, so mindset and scheduling your time. So I would say overall, every week, try to give yourself a goal of how many listings you want to upload. Ideally, I would say you want to upload a minimum of 10 listings. And obviously, this depends on your level of where you are in the process, right? Some of you guys are a little bit more confident uploading listings. Some of you are a little less confident. So do something that feels right, but try to stick to it. And obviously, if you don't stick to it, it's not the end of the world. But I would say I've noticed this for myself, right? And it comes for anything in my life. When I stick to a routine, it's like positive affirmation to my subconscious mind that I'm able to do something. And the more I have positive affirmations of like, I follow through, the more confidence I gain. And I think this is something that we all struggle with when we're starting new habits is that it's easy to do something one day, but then we don't necessarily follow through. And this is why I've been telling you guys, like, try to do the task, even if it's just like 20 minutes every day, and try to figure out. Actually, you know who speaks about this is a comedian, Jeffrey Seinfeld, because there's a book that I read a while back. The Power of Habits, I think was the name of the book. And it talks about that. It talks about the fact that it takes our brain 30 days to make a new habit. So you have to be consistent for 30 days for your brain to be able to do a task more easily. So when you're starting something new, it's taking double the effort, and that's absolutely normal. And so part of it making it easier is to constantly be doing it, and that's going to make the task much easier, right? So what I like to do is this thing called bulked. So a couple things. First, I would say try to bulk the tasks. So let's say, do all your research at once for the week to come and try to come up with like those 10 design ideas, whether it's different niches or the same niches, and try to like do all that task at once. Or like you can break it down in a couple days, but try to do that at once. Once you're done with that task, then start with the design process. And then once you're done with the design, then do the upload all at once. I would say that usually works better than doing one design at a time, simply because it enables your brain to be in that task mode. And so you're going to be more efficient, right? So I feel like that works really well. So I would say that you have to ensure that you are doing the same thing every day, right? Or like you're blocking a time every day to do those specific tasks and then try to bulk the task itself, right? So for me, it's a little different, right? So essentially, the way I do it is that every day I assign new designs to my team. So I will do, so I have like, because I do a lot of different things, right? And content creation is one of them. So usually I'll do research every day. I do research and based on my research, and I also come up with a message card. So I do that all together. And then I assign the design to my team, um, usually in the evenings because I forgot where they are, but they're somewhere in Asia. So, anyways, so I assigned it to them. They're actually in a Middle Eastern country, and I just don't know. It's like an Asian Middle Eastern country, and I just don't know which one it is. So I don't want to say something stupid. Anyway, so I assigned it to them, and then in the morning, my VA from the Philippines will go ahead and upload it to Etsy. But in your case, like you just have to find a cadence. And when I was starting out, so obviously I would do everything myself. The way I usually would do it is that I would sort of bulk my research in the mornings. So I would research every morning. And then once I was done researching in the evening, I would go ahead and design. So that's the way I did it. There's multiple ways of going about it. You just have to look at your schedule. I would say personally for me, I'm a early riser, so I'm more efficient in the morning. So what I would do is my day job started around like 9 a.m. So what I would do, and this I yeah, and I started when we were like starting to do Zoom calls because I started the beginning of the pandemic. So essentially, like that was good. Like I didn't have to commute. So what I would do is I would wake up early. I would wake up around like 6 a.m. and I would start working on my print on demand store. And then I would work again on my print on demand store. I would take a break at 5, walk around, and then I would like work again on but I mean, I'm crazy. So I'm just saying, like, know that whatever time you're blocking, try to block that for yourself. Like, put it in your calendar and have a reminder, and block the time that is needed for you to upload. So hopefully that can be helpful for you guys, right? And then try to figure out what your bottleneck is. I think for most of us, obviously, it's design. So is there a way that you can create templates, or can you even hire someone to help, right? So hiring someone, I have a whole chapter about it. You can test people on Fiverr. I would say Fiverr is pretty efficient. A lot of the times, the reason you're not getting good results is because you don't have a design brief. And so I have a design brief template that you can use. And again, all this is in the design chapter, where it essentially shows how I assign designs to designers. And I include like I include examples, I include like the kind of font that I want. Like I'm very meticulous, and I used to be a project manager, so like I do have that background, so that helps. But like if you follow the template that I use, it should help you. But I'm not saying you have to do that now. I'm just saying like in the long term, like try to figure out what your bottleneck is, and whatever your bottleneck is, like try to see if you can bring somebody on to help you in the future. Okay, so once that's done, we're going to talk about how to come up with a strategy on what to upload, right? So like I've told you before, overall, the more okay, I would say categories that are anything apparel and jewelry, right? Or even cutting boards, you have to be more creative. I would say overall, the more there's a product, the more category the more sorry the more the category is present on China on Etsy, the more creative you have to be, right? So apparel has been around for a while, mugs have been around, tumblers, um, shine on jewelry has been around for like 2 years now. So you have to be more creative because that's how the marketplace is evolving, right? And then this right here, which is actually probably handmade, or I don't know. I mean, I've never seen this, and it's a really smart idea. It's literally like little wooden flowers that represent the birth months of everyone in the family, because birth flowers are very, very in. And this is a bestseller. So obviously they don't need to be as creative because they have an edge. No one else is selling that, right? So when you have an edge with a supplier, obviously you don't have to be as creative, because if nobody knows who your supplier is and you're selling something unique that's very wanted in the marketplace, obviously you're going to have an edge. But when you are selling something that everybody has access to, obviously you need to be more creative, right? So something else I wanted to share, because I've mentioned this in the past, is that the Dear Mom, even when I'm not close by, blah, blah, blah. So this letter blanket, actually, I saw this last year, and they were trending last year. And it's been a bestseller for a while, but I would say a lot of these other suppliers or other sellers got inspired probably by this bestseller. So that's what I mean when I mean like cross-pollinating. Like sometimes you'll see something that's doing well. You have to see whether or not it's already present in another category, because maybe there's an opportunity for you to include it into another category, right? So you see how the lights are a letter or the cutting board are a letter. So these products I know came in this year. The lights came in this year. And the cutting board as well. So this was last year. Somebody saw it and somebody jumped on the opportunity because it was not in the marketplace in other categories, right? So the same applies for anything that you upload, right? You always have to see whether or not there is an opportunity. So I created a little grid for you guys, which I think would be helpful to kind of help you figure out what to upload, right? So first, I always want you to figure out if there's enough sales or traffic to support your idea. So the first thing is when you come up with an idea, simply go on Etsy. In this case, like handwritten letter. So handwritten letter gifts, go on Etsy, do a search, make sure that you have either Everbee or your Etsy Hunt, whatever spy tool you need, and make sure that there's enough sales. So make sure that the item is flying off the charts, right? Like you need to make sure that there were active sales in the last 7 days. Very important, right? So is there enough sales and is there enough traffic to support this idea? So obviously traffic you can bring from other sources like Mother Gift, etc., but you need to make sure that there's a demand. So that's the first step. Like if there's not enough of demand for an idea that I have, then I scratch it. An example I can give you is recently, and I went over this with someone on a coaching call, like I found the autism niche. And there's some sellers who are selling autism necklaces, like they're little puzzle necklaces that I've seen. And there are some opportunities there. And I think that, you know, if you were to upload something, you probably could get sales. But personally, I decided not to upload in that niche because there was not enough traffic for it to be worthwhile for me. So I felt like it would be like sales that would come in sporadically, but it's just not enough volume for me to really go after it. But if I was a newbie and I was just starting my store, I would have most definitely gone after that niche, right? So I would say make sure overall that there's just enough volume, right? And also when you're looking at the idea, make sure that it's not done in all different categories, right? So this letter idea of like writing a personalized letter or the birth month idea, go back on Etsy and see if somebody else is doing it. Is it done with Shine On? Is it done as a mug? Can it work with Shine On? So there's a seller a couple of Valentines ago. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the maps of where we met, which actually I'm going to pull up right now, but let me open up a window. So essentially those maps were really popular, but they were Canva art. And it was like where we met. Let me pull it up. Where, I don't know if you guys saw those. Yeah, here, I just pulled it up. So these where we met maps where, well, they've been really popular for a while, right? And there's a Shine On seller a couple Valentines ago. Yeah, they took the star maps the night we met, and they did that for Shine On. So again, it's just the same concept, right? Of taking something that and see somebody did it with the light. I'm telling you guys, these lights, I mean, I know they ship from Vietnam, so it's a pain in the butt, but these night lights are all the rage right now. Anyways, I would say, yeah, so there's a Shine On seller who did a necklace. Um, and actually there's even these custom coordinate necklaces are also selling pretty well. Oh, I guess this is somebody else who this is the original one that performed really well. This was like a couple years ago. Uh la, la, la. Yeah, it's such a shame, see, because something like that does really well. And like they have a date from 2017. I guess I don't know. It's funny, like something as simple as like updating their thumbnail um would really help them. So yeah, I mean, I guess they scaled and they ended up doing the same concept over and over again, like 1 year anniversary because it was working for them. But this was with the original one that was a bestseller. See, it's still a bestseller. This is the one. And I like how they had the little hearts because visually, like it grabs your attention as well. Versus the one we just saw, I forgot where that was. It just didn't have that element. Yeah, that's the one that went viral. So essentially what they did is they took this concept that was doing well in other categories. Yeah, this one is not okay. Actually, this is a perfect segue into design. So see the difference between this design and the other one, which I had up just a second ago. So this design, it's not as appealing to the eye because it's simply a star map. And then under the sky, it all began. Like it's just not very, it doesn't really pull you in emotionally. Versus this one right here, it has a little heart of where you met. It has your name. It has as well the date and where it was. So this is more emotionally appealing than something like this. So keep that into consideration, right? Like look at what is selling and also make sure that when you're creating a design that there's those elements that are grabbing the customer's attention. Okay. So let's talk about designs. Okay. So how can you attract buyers? So I wanted to show designs that are not really attracting buyers. So this one right here, To My Mom, there's a couple of things that are not working. The first one is the To My Mom it's not sort of big enough. It doesn't really grab your attention per se. Um, I mean, then the other thing I would say the problem is they're using too many different fonts and there's not enough. I mean, yeah, I would say there's just not enough contrast, right? And it just doesn't really feel luxurious. And adding that little ornament here, like kind of cheapens the overall design. So always make sure that you have contrasts and always make sure that, like the other example here, like this is a little too busy. So I'm not opposed to like To My Amazing Mom font that they have up here, but I'm not having the flowers up here is too busy. So you can't really read the signature. I would take that out. I would push the To My Amazing Mom on top. I do like that they have that little circle where the necklace is, like that's a cute little touch. And then you gave me confidence, la la la, like that to me is too small as well. Like I would find a way to make that a little bigger so it's easier to read, and I would push these flowers more towards the corners. So overall, you want to make sure that your design feel luxurious. So I wanted to show you this. Never underestimate a woman with a master's degree. So this is not a bestseller, but they did get a decent amount of sales, like 10 cells or something. They just uploaded this recently, and I felt that was really smart. Simply because that's just a really great headline for a daughter who just graduated with a master's degree. I'm not a fan of the signature because master's degree is really hard to read. So they probably could get more sales if they were to rework this design because I think adding a little hat as well, like on would help as well somewhere. So you understand it's like a graduation gift, master's degree. I would rewrite this in a different font, make it more prominent. And then the font here in the bottom, I would make that bolder because it's just a little hard to read as well. So this is a great design. Obviously, I've mentioned them in the past. Aphrodite, they've been around for a while, and they sell multiple designs, mainly Gear Bubble, and they also have their own fulfillment company. But they were the first one that came up with this concept of like badass mom. But you see how easy it is to read and how the badass mom is bolded. The on Mother's Day, I would take that out because, like I've mentioned in the past, like you wanna have a gift that's evergreen. From my personal experience, adding Mother's Day, it's only going to get you a few sales. It's better to have something that's evergreen. So to my badass mom, whenever you feel inadequate, unworthy, or unloved, remember whose mom you are and strain your crown. I will love you always. So last week we talked about encouragement gifts for mothers. So this is just another great example to show that an encouragement gift for a mom usually performs better than some of these other messages. And the design, like something like that, you're like, oh yeah, I'm totally willing to spend $50 on this gift. Versus this, it's an okay design, but there could be more work done for it to be more luxurious and feel a little bit more high end. Does that make sense, guys? Say yes if it makes sense or no.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So there's a couple other things I wanted to share. One is this necklace well, it's not a necklace, it's a keychain. And I mentioned this to you guys, some of you guys yesterday. These are like the upload keychain where you can upload a photo. But this is actually really smart what they did. So this is a photo upload. And this is a gift for a support cancer gift and Rising Phoenix, which I was like, oh my God, that's such a smart idea. So essentially, they're kind of talking about this mystical being, yada yada, and then they added a photo of a phoenix, or you can add your own photo, which I thought was something very original, which I would have never thought of. And they did get a few sales with this item. So I wanted to put that in there to kind of show you how to think outside the box, right? You don't always necessarily want to do recipients. Like sometimes you just want to do concepts. And for them, it really worked well. So kind of help you expand your mind. Now, there's another thing I wanted to address as well. And that's kind of a low-hanging fruit because when it comes to Shine On, you do have to be more creative, right? Because like a simple to my mom, to my daughter signature is just not going to work anymore, right? So something as simple as adding the name of the recipient and adding other personal data, very similar to this other necklace we saw earlier, right? Where this is personalized. And you do that by adding the image swapper feature on Shine On. So every time you get an order, you're going to have to change this on Canva. So that can be a very easy way to take a bestseller and personalize it. The only thing, so by the way, notice how they have this photo in their thumbnail. So I really like the fact that they're having this photo in their thumbnail. And the only thing I would say is that they should add as well a little sticker that says personalize with recipient's name or add name or personalize, like something. So it's obvious to the consumer that they can add the recipient's name because otherwise, like your eye is going to gloss over it, especially because Matthew's written so small. So another idea that I shared with one of you guys yesterday, I think it was Shani, like essentially is to take this concept of graduation, right? And this plaque is selling pretty well, where essentially instead of to a beautiful girl, you could put to Rebecca, and then you could put the state, or not the state, the university where she graduated from and the year, and then make sure the customers know that they can personalize that. So that's one idea that you could do a shine on. Another idea that's more complicated is these little not icons, what are they called? Drawings are very in. And essentially, you give the customer the ability to add a cartoon figure that represents their daughter. And so you could add on into a shine on card and put it right here, and then obviously have the message. But you would have to use customly to do that. And you have to do it manually with Etsy. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. But the good thing with things that are pain in the butt is that less people are willing to take the extra effort. And so that's going to be an edge for you because there's no shine on seller who's doing that right now. So if you decide to work with Customly, tell them I sent you, they know me, and they'll work with you. I think Lisa had a call with them a little while back ago to kind of help get set up. It's $97 a month minimum. Yeah, but you can do it for free, I think, when you're starting out, if I remember correctly. I haven't used them yet, but I know that this is something I'm looking to use as well because there's just a lot of opportunities. Okay, so now let's talk about thumbnails. So I found this yesterday on a coaching call and I was like, oh my God, why didn't I think of this? And this gift was selling. And the reason why is because they had like the simple image, of a young man who's graduating. And you're probably wondering, well, why is that doing so well? Because as a consumer, when I'm on Etsy, I kind of see the same thing over and over again. So the simple fact of adding that emotional touch, right, with a photo does all the work, where as a consumer, I'm going to click on that because I see that sticker. I was going to say, in order to make that even better, I would say that they should personalize this, right? That's what I've been telling you guys, like add the name instead of young men, to I would say to R, because it could be from both parents, to our amazing Derek or whatever on your graduation day. So that could be a way to take this concept and make it even stronger, and obviously add the sticker personalized. So this is the burr flower necklaces, which are really popular, the burr flowers. And I wanted to share this thumbnail because it does a really great job explaining to consumers that, oh, you can customize this, right? So it has burr flowers, and then it has all the steps. And I would say you don't even need to have all the steps, but then it says as well, ships next day. Because that's another benefit, especially when you are working with a USA print-on-demand supplier. Obviously, when you're working with someone who is supplying or fulfilling from Asia, you can't say that. But having that ship next day, which Shine-On is pretty good about shipping the next day. Owlprint, not as much. But Shine-On's pretty good about it. Like, so adding that or adding ships within 48 hours does give you an edge. And it's just, you can use Vela. You can use Vela, or you can use other, or you can use Canva to help you create these thumbnails. So I would take note of that. And when you upload something, make sure that you optimize your thumbnail to get people to click on them, because that's something as well that this year is going to be necessary, optimizing your thumbnail. T-shirt sellers do a really good job with that, but other categories don't do great yet. Okay, so let's talk about this new research tool that I just found for Pinterest. It's a Chrome extension. So go on Chrome and go on the extension section, or you could simply Google it, do Chrome extension Pinterest one. It's free. And what's so great about it is that it gives you the engagement of each different pins. So this is going to give you guys like a whole new edge because now you'll be able to get a sense like this right here, this poem, Stardust, has 8,000 likes. So clearly, this is something that I might want to use because I feel personally like sometimes I get stuck with messaging. I'm just like you guys, I'm human. So sometimes I get stuck with messaging and especially like the bottom card of the Shine On card. And I feel like, oh, I feel like this has been said and resaid, and I want to find something a little more unique. So usually what I do is I go on Pinterest to find new ideas. And now, by the way, I've been using ChatGPT as well to help me come up with ideas. Actually, Lisa came up with like the funniest message card yesterday. She shared it with me. So using Pinterest, a combination of Pinterest and ChatGPT or Jasper.ai, if you don't have access to ChatGPT, will really help bring your copy game to a whole new level because we're not copywriters, right? So having all the help we can, it will make the difference. And so I'm really excited about this tool as well because it could be a good way to spy. And I've already mentioned this brand. There's a brand based out of Austin that sells message card jewelry, but they have their own jewelry. Brian Anthony's. Let me look it up. Let me share with you guys. And so with Pinterest now, I'll be able to, wait, Brian Anthony's. With Pinterest, I'll be able to see like what of all their jewelry, which one is performing the best or which one people are liking the best. So this is them. And I've shared this in the group in the past. Yeah, I've been spying on them for a while. And so I guess these are their best sellers. The reason I love these, I love them is because they have messages that are really different from everything we see on Etsy. And it's not necessarily to my sister, to my brother, which don't necessarily work as well as they used to. But I like that it's just like a different signature, high and lows, beautifully broken, grit, tribe. And I mean, you can also get insights as to what's the favorite based on how many reviews one is getting. Sorry, how many reviews are within those necklaces. So this gives you insight, tribe. And so what you would do is you would literally go on Etsy, do a search for tribe and see what comes up. And then it gives you an insight as to whether or not there's opportunities there. But this could be, so there's not a lot of sales, but this one is getting a decent amount of sales. I mean, it does help that it's a pretty different bracelet, but I mean, there could be opportunities there because have you noticed that there's no one from Shine On? So this is what I do, guys. I help you try to, well, there's one person from Shine On, but this, like the design, I would say is, doesn't really work. It doesn't really pull my eye as a customer. So you have to find a way. I mean, so this seller came up with that and they have 6 cells, right? But there's opportunities there. Not a lot of cells, but still something to play around with. Another tool, obviously, that I've mentioned in the past is Alura.io because a lot of times I like to look at competitors. So let's say that I find a gift that's doing really well, right? So, I mean, or even like the store, right? They've had 1,000 sales. They get 11 sales weekly. So, I mean, they're beginners, but interesting. They went after the you are enough and they're getting sales. Interesting. I would never have thought that this would get sales, especially because it's not very well executed. But again, it shows that when you go after something that's doing well and you're the first one in the marketplace, not the first one in the marketplace, but the first one in the category to come up with it, then you end up getting sales. But like I love looking at stores, and either you do that by looking at the reviews they're getting, or you can literally use Alara.io and pull all their bestsellers. But this gives you like a story of like other gifts idea that you might have not thought of, right? So there's that. So your goal is always to find like missing opportunities in the marketplace, right? Look for something that's in high demand and find a way to differentiate yourself. Always find a way to differentiate yourself. If something is more crowded, like I mentioned in the earlier slides, you have to be more creative. So just to kind of reiterate, this was a gift that was popular. Where is it? This gift right here, To My Soulmate, that was popular for Valentine's. This was a gift actually that went viral with Facebook ads. So they probably pulled this from a Facebook ad spying tool like Spy Pro. And the reason it did so well is because they simply added a graphic, and it was speaking to a demographic of, you know, the beer-headed guy who likes his beer, like kind of like the hipster guy. So this is why it did really well. If it would have not had this graphic, it probably would have not performed as well. So you do need to add graphics. You do need to add different headlines. You do need to come up with other ideas when it comes to Shine On, or personalize it, right? So either personalize it by adding a name, personalize it by having the little cartoons like the customly, personalize it, yeah, by adding the school name, or you would need to add a graphic, but make sure the graphic is not so dominant that you're not able to read the font. Like always make sure that there's contrast in your designs. And then the last thing I would say is adding a signature that's different, like Tribe, Unbreakable, like that Brian Anthony brand, right? You Are Enough. Obviously, You Are Enough has already been done, but maybe try to come up with something else, like a way to ride that trend. So the more there's sort of competition within a specific niche, the more you have to come up with creative ideas. And then if you're lucky and you have access to special suppliers, print on demand suppliers, or even like have access to something that nobody else has access to, then obviously you don't need to be as creative. So that's kind of the best way to explain it for you guys. So here's a gift that I shared last week that's going viral. In this case, they obviously went after the British demographic, mom, MUM. And this is actually a quote that has been done and redone. You're braver than you believe, stronger than you think, love. The only different element is that they're using a plaque, and plaques that's a brand new gift. That's just a brand new product that has been launched this year. Shine On said they're going to sell plaques this year. I don't know when they're planning on rolling that out, but just heads up. And I mean, it's really simple. It's like a giraffe, which performs really well. So, I mean, perhaps there's an opportunity to kind of take this concept with the giraffes and do a Shine On version. That's just an idea. Or you could do like a mom and daughter with the little cartoons from Customly. That could be another idea, which obviously it's more work, but that's kind of what's needed now is Shine On, unfortunately. And then always look at the tags that they're using. First Mother's Day, gift from daughter, Mother's Day gift, mom's gift, giraffe gifts, mom present. So first Mother's Day, like that's always some insights of like, okay, this might be given to a mom who just had a kid. I guess from her husband, maybe too. But no, it says daughter to mother gift. Interesting. Yeah, so that's a little odd, actually. But yeah, so look at what the competition is selling on the marketplace. look for missed opportunities, right? So if something is done in one category, like let's say it was like a year ago and the handwritten letter was only done in the blankets, well, then there would be an opportunity to do it in a mug or any other product per se. For a Shine On card, it might be a little tight. You could try it, but it could be a little tight to have a handwritten note. I'm not sure if you would be able to read it, but this is something you could try, guys. Like, yeah, it's something that could be tried because nobody's doing handwritten notes on with Shine On. All right. That's my spiel for today. So opening up the floor for Q&A, and make sure as well to just turn on your mic so I can hear you. Hello, hello.
Hi, Luna.
Yay.
Can you show us the order swapper feature that you talked about, how we can customize the cards?
Yeah, let me see because hold on. Let me take a screenshot. So when you go on Shine On, yeah, let me see if I can open it from my mockup store. Yeah. Okay. So when you go under create and you like pick a message card, like let's say this one, you do create product. Um, hold on, let me upload to see what to upload. Yeah, hold on. Let me pull something. Oh, I know what I'll pull. I'll pull a screenshot. So whatever this. So then you do assets, and then you're gonna do blah blah blah. So there's a feature that's like image swap, which I guess comes after. Let's see if it's here. Here. So it's under action, enable artwork swapper. You saw it?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Hey Luna, I have a question. I know from our call, I'm still trying to set up everything.
Uh-huh.
In general, when we do print on demand, is it always that we connect with our Shopify first and then from there connect to the Etsy, right?
Yeah, so essentially you with Shine On, right? One way to do it is you connect Shine On with Shopify. You create the Shopify listing. Then you have CED Commerce because CED Commerce is what helps you upload to Etsy.
Mhm. So if I have products from Shine On and let's say on print, can CED work to bulk upload all products that are on Shopify, including
Yes.
other? Okay.
Yes.
Got it. And then I set up my shop with basically assuming that I'm only going to sell Shine On, which was a very limited mindset. So all of the frequently asked questions I drafted was for Shine On. So now if I were to use different supplier, do I have to keep updating my like
No,
policies
you
or
don't.
frequently asked
I
questions?
mean, don't worry about that. I would say only worry about it once you start getting sales. Because yeah,
Okay.
like for instance, like when you have multiple suppliers, like I'll print, it takes them, I mean, now I have it set up as like 10 production days,
Hmm.
even though they've been shipping faster. So when I send the messages out, I say, I say like, okay, well, first of all, I have different shipping templates, right? Based on those
Hmm.
suppliers. And then, yeah, I have a message of like production days based on level of personalization takes anywhere between 2 to 10 business days. So
Hmm.
you can make it very generic, right? And you can
Okay.
like keep it pretty open-ended. But yeah, don't worry about that. I mean, to be honest, FAQs are more to protect your butt when people like
Hmm.
are upset versus nobody reads the FAQ. Even when you
Okay.
have it. Yeah, I mean, nobody does it. So it's
I
just more to
see.
protect yourself when like a customer's angry, you're like, it's on our FAQ,
I see.
which
Okay.
happens. I mean, not as much with Shine On because Shine On's like pretty on the ball, but
Hmm.
yeah, a few of us, and you know who you are. I mean, myself included. Yeah, we've had a few bad experiences, but it is what it is.
I see. Okay. Um, okay. I'm really hoping to just be done with setting up things so I can move on to the product this
Yeah, I'm
weekend.
excited.
Thank you.
Yeah. How's it going overall, guys? I know some of you told me that you didn't upload as many as you thought you could.
Yeah.
Overall, how's it going?
I'm still interested in uploading because I already have digital artworks and it's just sitting there. So even though you said that digital arts are not selling as much, I'm still gonna try to upload them and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. It's
But
better.
maybe before I s- yeah, maybe I'll do the jewelries first so I don't waste too much time on the digital arts.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, jewelry is my bread and butter. Like, I mean, that's what I
Hmm.
started with. It's just, I would say, as of last year, I realized that I needed to start expanding. So that's when I started expanding. I mean, actually, no, a little bit more than last year. I started selling other categories and also looking for other suppliers. But for a while, I mean, when I first started, the first year, I was strictly selling Shine On. But my
Hmm.
stance has changed simply because they aren't uploading as many. They said that they're going to change that. They're going to provide us with more products. But yeah, like they just don't have enough products to kind of like sustain a store long term. But when
Hmm.
you're getting started, absolutely, like just get your feet wet, follow exactly what's in the course, follow the advice I gave today. Personalizing is something that a lot of sellers are not doing. And if you go through the extra step of doing that, which is more work, it will get you better results.
Okay.
Dawn, I see you're here. She's new to the group. How's it going so far? Have you started watching the course? Maybe she didn't hear me. All right, guys. Well, if there's no other questions, I'll let you guys go. And as usual, let me know if there's anything that comes up. Keep uploading, keep uploading, keep uploading. And yeah, because I mean, people are going to start actively buying gifts for Mother's Day, Father's Day, graduation. And I mean, there's other opportunities as well for other evergreen niches. All right, guys. And yeah, if you haven't already, make sure to check out also the other live Q&As from 2023 because I share a lot of great information in there. Okay, guys, have a gorgeous rest of your weekend.
You
Bye.
too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.